Isuzu's latest heavyweight Giga has a new and somewhat polarising face. On the other hand, it is now festooned with protective paraphernalia. But has the big Suzi retained all that made people love it? The reliability, the simplicity and the price? To find out, we went to a brand stronghold and in a line of work that has made the Giga many long-time friends. Strong, reliable, competitively priced trucks has meant that the Japanese marks always found a happy home in primary industry. Today, Isuzu's utility and regional rural cartage is no less appealing, especially now that the heavy end of the brand's product line has taken its place on the big truck safety table with a full suite of active safety equipment under the Advanced Driver Assistance System ADAS umbrella. Palmerston-based Otago Transport Limited, OTL, is your Kiwi classic rural transport business. Headed by Kerry Turner, the rural carrier has had an association with the brand back to the turn of the century. OTL is an Isuzu stronghold today for all the reasons we've just listed. Our visit would turn out to be even better than we'd hoped for. We had access to two of OTL's new 8x4 Gigas for our review. One on bulk tip work, driven by 25-year veteran Peter Stevenson, and the other a stock unit, driven by 19-year veteran Colin Foley. We meet up with Peter first on Huven Timber's yard on Tiverton Street, about a block away from OTL's yard, and Peter wastes no time delving into the merits of his new charge. "I didn't think I'd like it at the start, but I've gotten used to it," he comments. His truck being only 5 months and 45,000 kilometres old, Peter's still new to the Japanese way, having driven mainly American gear in his time with the company. Peter usually travels the mid to lower South Island, from Rangiora through to Invercargill and inland to Cromwell. "This definitely hangs onto the hills better than I thought it would," he comments, citing the Kilmog as an example. "I'm down to the low box, probably still in the same gear as I was in the Freightliner, maybe half a gear down if anything, but not doing the same speed. It goes alright, but you have to watch it on the Canterbury Plains when cruising along. In the Argosy, I could hear the speed. This is a lot more quiet and refined," he says with a laugh. The CYJ530 retains the previous model's 6WG1 15.6 litre 6-cylinder motor and Euro 5 trim. While it gets along well enough, it must be said that this old warhorse is showing its age, but it still has its advantages. There's no doubt that the big 6WG1 will be the least stressed under load compared to its 13 and 11 litre rivals. It must be remembered that with this engine, Isuzu offers the highest power and torque outputs of the Japanese OEMs and the all-important 8x4 configuration. Speaking of which, Isuzu is the only Japanese OEM to offer the trusty 18-speed manual Road Ranger in its latest heavy trucks. Catch up with Colin and his Giga on stock transport. For the last 12 years or so, Colin's only driven Isuzus on stock work. At the time of our visit, he had covered 47,000 kilometres in 6 months behind the wheel of his latest steed. The Giga's excellent steering lock is another standout feature, as we witnessed when Colin exited a tight rural drive after one of his collections. At a glance at the spec sheet, it reveals impressive maximum inner wheel angles of 47 degrees and 39 degrees at the first and second steers at full lock. Peter and Colin both comment on the Giga's improved ride and comfort. Like its predecessor, the CYJ runs on front parabolic leaf springs with double-acting shock absorbers. However, the rear now rests on 8-bag air suspension with hydraulic shock absorbers. This over the old model's 4-bag setup. They also approve of the enhanced interior environment. The driver occupies a heated and ventilated Isringhausen seat, while the passenger seat is rigidly mounted, but definitely not uncomfortable. The cab is dominated by a big squared-off dash that provides more space for radios, auxiliary switches and storage compared to the rounded-off design of the old previous model. Space is also good, the Isuzu benefiting from less division and clutter you tend to find in a UD or a Fuso with their bulky centre consoles. There's also 671mm of depth behind the seats, enough for a simple bunk. One of the common comments made about the new Giga is most often about its looks, and in all honesty, the new truck fits in quite well with its contemporaries. The more time we spent with the OTL trucks, the more we grew to like their new style. Given the decade or so that the previous generation was in the local market, we can only conclude it's just a matter of familiarity. They're easy to drive, comfortable, they're honest trucks. People grow to like them, Peter would comment. Indeed, if there is one trait that's carried through the generations of the big Isuzus, it would be their charm as honest hard workers. And operations like OTL's prove this. The Giga fits with the company's honest-to-goodness operations, so much so that there's a fourth in the workshop right now being set up as a drop-sider. However, despite all this, it's the flash end of the market that tends to catch the eye of the drivers these days. A shame given there's plenty of space in the market for trucks like the Giga, especially now that its safety spec is on par with the best out there. We can't wait to see what the future holds for this Japanese manufacturer as it enters this forthcoming era. Definitely a name in the marketplace that's worth so much to so many. To read the full story on the new Isuzu 8x4 Gigas for Palmerston-based Otago Transport, then catch a copy of the November 2023 issue of New Zealand Trucking Magazine, or visit us at nztrucking.co.nz to read the digital copy. See the links below. Remember to hit those like and subscribe buttons for fresh content as we upload it for you. Have a great month out there and travel safe.